Lux 435 Heavy, mend off to maintain 1000.
And welcome to the flight deck. If you are just now joining us, we are en route from Ketchikan to Juneau, Alaska in the RealAir Turbine Duke and flight level 220. And I should say, show you a few more of the features of the Flight 1's GTN 750. I have two installed in the panel, and we're going to bring those to bear here as we prepare for our arrival into Juneau. So let's jump in over here and look at a few of the features. Since we have two, I'm going to use two. These do not cross feed in terms of the flight plan, so I have the flight plan loaded up over here on the left, and on the right basically just using this one for terrain and a few other things. So one of the things I want to do is let's bring up waypoint info. Let's go to airport and let's have it find an airport. I don't want that one. Let's search, and there's Juneau right there. Now let's go into the frequencies and let's plug the ATIS in, get that up there, and we'll go ahead and put the ground in that bottom frequency. Now we can monitor for the ATIS if we just come down here. See, this one says mic, this one says monitor. So now I'm monitoring number 2, so when we can pick it up, we'll hear it, and that's good. That's what we want there. And let's go back to there, and let's come over, let's put that map back up, and we'll come over here to this one, and this one makes a little clicking noise. It lets me know that I found what I want. Let's do the same thing. Airports, we have Ketchikan frequencies, and we can go ahead and center frequency stayed the same. Oh no, that's Ketchikan. Actually, what we want is Juneau. So I was thinking that frequency was different. There's Juneau, and there is the center frequency, and lo and behold, hang on, getting a call from center. Okay, Anchorage Center on 33.9 for 2-8 Golf. Good day. So they just gave us a handoff to Anchorage Center, so we'll go ahead and put them up there and give them a call, and then we can plug the tower in down here on the bottom in the standby, and we're all set there. Anchorage Center, Duke 4628 Golf, level at flight level 220. 28 Golf. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to do is let's pick us out an approach for when we get there. So we want to come to procedures and look at the approaches, and we want the RNAV Victor for runway 8. So I'm going to go ahead and load that in, and let's go down and just look at the waypoints, and that does not look right. So I think I picked the wrong one. I'm going to go back and check it. I need to go back and put in a transition. So we don't want vectors, we want their sisters. So now we got that, and now let's load that. Now I've got the waypoints in that I was expecting, so all that's good. And let's go in here and let me just check our progress. So we're 70 miles away from Hoods, and I have just done my own calculations to see that we want to start descending of about 50 miles away. But there are some tools that we can use here in the utilities. Let's go to the VCalc, and let's put in a target altitude of, well, I'll tell you what, while we're doing that, let's put in 3,500, and let's enter that. I also want to bring up a chart. We'll use 800 feet, 8 miles before Oakme. Let's plug that in, and we'll go back to our map. Now I want to come over here and let's bring up the approach chart. So let's go back and let's go into charts. There we go. And let's get the right airport. So we're going to bring Juneau up. There it is right there. And let's look at the approaches. And this is the approach we're using, the GPS Victor runway 8 approach. It's loading it up. And there's the approach information. Now we can go in full mode, and you can see that there's Sisters Island VOR, and the initial approach fix here, NEMI or something like that, and the intermediate fix is OGME, and the final approach fix is here, 070. The approach is offset, the runway is offset from the approach, and so we'll be flying in at 070 and landing on runway 8. And that is, I can't quite say, oh, it's this going this way, 070, and then landing on runway 8. So anyway, a little bit of a dog leg there at the end. Missed approach is a hard left, and over here to this waypoint, and then up to this one, and then hold. So we hopefully won't be needing that. So there's the approach. Good to have on here. Let's come back over here to, oh, one last thing, we better go back and just double check. Charts unavailable. Okay, don't know why. I wanted to look at the minimum descent altitude. I've got the chart anyway. It's 1,880 feet. So we can go ahead and set up our, over here on our radar altimeter, we can set our minimums to 1,880. They're at 200. And we'll just, for good procedure, we'll go ahead and set it basically on 1,900 feet. And hopefully we'll have the airport before that. But there it is right there. So, I see some clouds up ahead. There's the ATIS. Okay, we have golf, and now we can quit monitoring that. And we're back up on center. We're still on center. And center Duke 28 Golf, we'd like to get lower when able. Out of 220 for 1,000 for 28 Golf. So it gave us our descent, so I'm going to go ahead and ease our power back. We're about 50 miles from Hoods now, and we'll bring our power back just a little bit so we don't overspeed on the way down, and let's start dialing it down. And I'm going to get us headed about 3,500 right there, and we don't want to go that fast. I'm going to do about 800 feet a minute. Right now it's telling me 560 feet a minute. I don't believe it. I think when I activate the approach, when I pass Hoods, that's going to be different. Let's bring this back up. We're going to use that terrain awareness system on that to make sure we don't hit a mountain. And keep an eye out there for our clouds, and we are in the descent. And I've got powered back to about 86% NG. We're watching our airspeed over here. We just want to keep it below 200. And let's just do our descent checklist. We have checked our ATIS, our altimeter. We'll go ahead and set that field. Altimeter setting is 29907. Since we are descending down, we'll go ahead and set that now. And we want to set our pressurization to field elevation, which is going to be sea level. So I'm going to bring that on over. And I'm going to slow that rate up just a little bit so we don't pop our ears here. And keep it about the same thing that we're doing here in the airplane. So there's sea level on that. And let's get up here and cut this windshield heat on so that we don't get all frosted up with that. And we'll keep an eye out on those clouds there. And now let me look at my checklist and see what I missed. ATIS, altimeter pressurization, windshield, power levers, airspeed monitor. We're at 180 right now. That's good. And we're going to activate that approach when we get to Hoods. And we're 40 miles away from Hoods. And let's look at our fuel. Pressure's good. We got 55 gallons still in that tank, and the other tank still the same. It's equal. And when we get a little closer, we'll bring those fuel pumps back on. Our radios are set and nav source is set. Everything looks good. And we'll see if we pick up any bumps or any ice in this cloud right here. So, fun facts. Juneau. One of the funnest facts about Juneau is there's not many fun facts about Juneau. I guess it's not much fun, or it's not funny. I really looked and I couldn't find too much that was of particular interest about Juneau. It's the state capital. We've already said that, of Alaska. Interesting thing about Juneau is that there's no roads that you can drive to get to Juneau. There are roads in Juneau, of course, but the only way to get there is either by, okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring on some anti-ice. At least our fuel vents and prop heat, and then we'll see if we need anything else. Depends on how long we stay in these clouds. Checking on airspeed. Still showing the same thing on the descent, but I think that'll change, like I said, when we activate the approach. So, yep, we're in the clouds. And, yeah, so it's a virtual island in terms of being able to access it. You have to either come by plane or by boat, or I suppose on foot if you're adventurous enough, but you're not going to drive there. And so that's a fun fact, I guess. And there are steep mountains all around Juneau. It actually sits at sea level, but mountains rise to about 4,000 feet around it. And at the top of those mountains is the Juneau ice field. And there's about 30 glaciers that run off of that ice field. A couple of them are visible from Juneau, from the road network. And one of them I've actually seen myself is the Mendenhall Glacier. It's about a 12-mile long glacier. And it is about 12 miles from the downtown area, and that's one of the big tours. Cruise ships love Juneau. There's typically several of them in there, and in fact, I think back in about 2005, they brought about 1 million tourists into Juneau. And just keeping a check on our wings, see if we're getting any ice. We're not picking any up at present, and if we do, we'll bring our boots on. But yeah, unless there's some clear ice that I'm not seeing, but I don't see any right now. So, but not everybody likes the cruise ships. Some of the local people there don't love them. And in fact, the Juneau Public Library was built on top of a parking garage along South Franklin Street near the Red Dog Saloon. And it was designed to take advantage of the view of and across the Gastineau Channel, and now this is blocked often by docking cruise ships which tower over the 5-story structure. Now we're breaking out that little cloud bank, and we got some more in front. We'll just leave the anti-ice on for the time being, and let's just get in here and see what our progress looks like. 190 on the airspeed, still holding steady here. And we're about 26 miles from Hood, so again, we'll wait till we get there to activate the approach. Coming down through 17,000. So all looks good in the descent. Let me see if there's anything else interesting about Juneau. Just looking at my notes. Oh, well, there is this. It is the third, and this is in terms of area, it's the third largest municipality in the United States. So it has 3,255 square miles of area, and the other two municipalities that are larger than Juneau are both in Alaska. One is, I'm working in my mind the pronunciation, Yukon is Yakutat City, and Burrow, Alaska are both larger than Juneau, but 3,255 square miles in Juneau. So it's a big place, and capital of Alaska. Yeah. Oh, last fun fact, Wings of Alaska, an airline, has its headquarters in Juneau. So, yeah, that's not a lot. I couldn't find any famous people from Juneau. And, you know, claim to fame, it's the capital of the state of Alaska. That's great. And I see my speed climbing, so I'm going to go ahead and ease back on that power a little bit. Try to keep us under that VNE speed of 200 knots indicated. Let's see what our ground speed looks like. And we're showing about a 230 knot ground speed, 8 knots of wind off the nose there. So the residents of Alaska and some of the governing bodies have, I think for a long time, tried to get the capital of Alaska moved. Before it was in Juneau, it was in Sitka, I believe, or either Skagway, one of those two. I think it might have been Sitka, and going from memory, and it moved to Juneau, and there have been some people that have been trying to get it moved away from Juneau to, I suppose, Anchorage or somewhere like that. Not sure exactly where, but anyway, there's been a resistance, and so far it is still in Juneau, state capital. And there is, though, a lot of the state government in other parts of Alaska that are not in Juneau, but yeah, that's pretty much now what I know about Juneau. It is a beautiful, beautiful area, and gorgeous scenery, and lots of opportunities for, you know, flying float planes and scenic tours of glaciers, and so lots to do there. I've been there a couple of times myself, and looking forward to getting back there. So let's get in here, get our head in the game, and make sure that everything's going good on this flight. So the GPS is now telling me that the vertical speed required is almost 400, so I'm going to put some trust in it and go ahead and slow up this descent. I don't want to get too low too far out. Now we've been cleared down to, all the way down to 3,500, and normally actually they would have probably cleared us down in steps, maybe 1,000. We'd have been handed off and all that, but yeah, for this purpose we got cleared down to 3,500, and that's where we're heading to be prepared for this descent, or for this approach into Juneau. So while I've got a minute, I'll just say that I think that these navigators, the GTN 750s, are a must-have. You can put them in lots of different airplanes. This is just one. I'm sure there are certainly others that you can put them in besides, of course, the Turbine Duke. And I would plan on using them in anything I can get them into within reason. The touchscreen technology, I'm shocked that we can do that with FSX. I thought we'd never see that day, and it's very well modeled, and it has lots and lots of capabilities. I'm still learning the systems, but you know, it's really been an awesome little navigator. So I think that these clouds are probably broken up enough. I'm going to pull our anti-ice off. We can always bring it back on if we need it. Not that one there. We never did engage the boots, or did we use our ice deflectors. We didn't get into it that much. And just about to get the hoods here. So if we can go into that pan mode and look at our approach a little bit more detail. Oh, it's not on this one. Never mind. We can't do it on that one, but we could on this one. So let's do it here. So I'm going to put the cursor over here, and there's sisters right there. So I'm going to zoom us in, and you can see there's Nimel and there's Ogme, and that's the direct line to PAJN, but you see this dog leg, that's what we're going to be flying. And I don't know if right now the vertical speed is actually calculating to Ogme, but maybe a straight shot, I don't know. But let's go back and let's look and see. We're crossing hoods now, so I'm going to go ahead and activate that approach. So we'll go over here to procedures, and we want to activate the approach right now. So we've done that, and you can see, let's go back into that mode. I'll be interested to see what our vertical speeds, what it's saying on it now. But we're going to sister, so everything's activated. That's the approach. Let's go back and see 840 feet a minute. See, I'm not so sure I shouldn't have just stayed right where I was, but we'll go ahead and increase that to 800. Look at my airspeed over there. We're at 190 knots, and let's check out of the window. Yeah, I thought the weather was actually forecasting a little worse. It doesn't look too terrible right now. And there were some thunderstorms in the area. They must have dissipated because I don't see any now, thankfully. Actually, the weather's pretty nice. And I'm going to bring our power back a little bit.
Alaska 83, descent of bounce pressure, maintain 5,000.
Keep us underneath that VNE of 200. And let's check our pressurization. Still in the descent, just about down to sea level. So that's doing good. You know, one thing I did not do is cut us some heat on. Guess better late than never. Must be freezing in here. As cold as it is outside. Nobody's complained. 50 gallons of fuel. And this is coming down now. So I've slowed the airplane up a little bit, 800, and we're descending at 800, so everybody's happy. Try to keep that speed up, and let's just enjoy some of the scenery here in the descent. We're using Rexsoft clouds. I think that's been well worth the investment. It wasn't very expensive add-on. Get a little bit more realism in those clouds. See the smudges and streaks in the windshield and on the panel. It really makes it look realistic. The textures look very realistic. It's like a vinyl dash here. So yeah, gonna dive in here see how we're doing, and double check my checklist here.
244 heavy, 5 miles from Webby, turn right heading 040, maintain.
Pressurization, windshield, power levers, GPS, de-ice, fuel, pressures are good. So we'll go ahead and bring on our pumps. Pump one, left and right, they're on. Ignitions are in auto. All that's good. Oil pressure and oil temperature looks good on both engines. Airspeed 180. 783. Looks like we're going to hit everything just about right where we should. 19 miles from Sisters. Now, is that the tower? Let's double check that and be sure that that's the tower. Go back over here to airport, waypoint, airport, towers 118.7. I don't know how I got that one in there. Oh, there's 2 tower frequencies. I see. There's a 120.7. But I think 118.7 is the proper. I want to look at my chart. Yeah, I'm showing 118.7. So I don't know what the other one is that's in there, but we got that right. What the preview button does. Oh, it shows us the airport. Yeah, lets us see what it looks like there. See the runways, NOTAMs, weather data, which we don't have that. So all that's good. Now, if you want to just get back to the map, you can press the home key and hold it, and there's your map. So a few miles to go here still. I probably got you back in on board a little bit early. I didn't want to be rushed, so I may compress the time a little bit. Don't hate me if I do. Just trying to save you some few minutes. Now I saw some lightning over there. So there are some thunderstorms. Yikers. And guess where we're going? We're going to make a right up here. Uh-oh. Yeah. Better hold on to your hats. One thing about the Duke, she's a tough old bird. I think she can handle it. And if she can't, then it's a good day to die. We'll die doing what we love. Yeah, I saw some. Oh, hello. All right, coming through 7,500 and 11 miles from Sisters. 777 on the vertical descent. Still looking good at where we are. Airspeed's looking good. Checking our engine gauges. Everything's in the green. Props are still pulled back to 2,000. We'll bring those up to full. And all we got to do now is just hope we can miss that storm. So we need to go. This is when you would like to have weather radar. So we got 9 miles to go before we turn, so we very well may steer clear of it. I'm hoping we do. Looks like it's pretty much concentrating right in here. So, and the airport's back up over that way. This would be one time when we wouldn't want to take a shortcut and go direct to this waypoint over here. So, yeah. Yeah, I feel like in the Duke we're in a very stout airplane. Well built, solid. Be nice to have a storm scope where we could see these lightning strikes. Or some weather radar so we could see. Yeah, there's some cloud to cloud lightning up there. Good stuff. Now, real world situation, I didn't have weather radar and I saw that, I'd be talking to the controller looking for vectors to get around this. I see some back over there too, so this is going to get interesting. We're getting ready to start our turn. I'm going to bring our power back and get us slowed up a little bit more, coming down through 5,700 feet. And in this turbine, I'd like to bring the power back and cool the engine down as slow as possible. Don't shock cool it. Like any sort of high performance engine, you don't want to jerk the power back. And we're starting our turn. And I think I can slow our descent up just a little bit now. So I'm going to do that. Bring it up to about 600 feet a minute. That'll slow us up a little bit more. Yeah, it's getting interesting here in the descent. I see a lot of lightning, but I don't see any really dark rain, or not feeling any real turbulence so far, so we're just gonna proceed in. Wait a second, I'm getting a call from center. We'll do all that. Cleared for the approach. 28 Golf. So we just got cleared onto the approach. He has not handed us off to the tower yet. Airspeed's 140. Coming down through 4,200.
Flight 811, I can approach flight 260, vector sequence runway 7 left.
I'll go ahead and kill the yaw damper.
Cathay 080 Heavy, contact tower 118.3.
There's 4,000. Let's bring this in so we can see the terrain. So pretty much the missed approach is, there's comes some rain now. Okay, now it's getting fun. The missed approach is, I'm going to keep an eye on everything here. If we have to go full power and get out of here, we will. The missed approach is to basically fly back up this way to the left. Wow, that wind is picking up. Now we're starting to feel the bumps. There's 3,500. I'm going to add us some power back in here so we don't get too slow. We have not dropped our gear or flaps. We're still flying clean. You hear the effects of the wind on the airframe. The airplane yaws back and forth. You can see it here in the turn coordinator, and that's what we're hearing. I'm going to ease that power back just a little bit. Level at 3,500. Over to tower for 28 Golf. Good day. So he just told us to contact the tower, so all we got to do is flip it over. And we got the tower in COM 1. Tower Duke 4628 Golf with you on the GPS runway 8 approach. To 8 Golf. It didn't clear us yet. It just told us to continue. We're probably a little far out to be cleared for the approach. So we got our speed up about 150. That'll speed us along, get us out of this weather maybe.
King Air 4 Charlie radar contact mile southwest at Campbell Strip. Show you 1,100. Have your clearance.
Okay, what we'll do, let's bring on some anti-ice. Prop heat, everything on. Got pneumatic pressure there. Okay. Let's see what the message is. Yep. Thank you. So the VNAV worked out pretty well, I think, all in all. I'm okay with that. I think when I changed over into the arm to approach, it recalculated. But all in all, not bad. Yeah, this is some stormy weather here. No doubt about it. So our inbound heading on the final approach course is 070. I've got the heading bug set over there.
Trans-Northern 14X departure, radar contact, maintain VFR on top.
And I guess we can set the CDI that way. Oh, now we're clear and getting out of some of these clouds. Kind of thinking you can link these together. Well, it changes automatically. I can't even remember if I've got it that way or not. Seems like it has been. Yeah. See, we just passed that waypoint, and now we have a vertical path indicator. So that's good. So what we're going to do is go into approach mode. As soon as this vertical path, we intercept it. We're coming into it from below, and we'll drop our gear, drop some flaps, and start down the glide path toward the airport. See what our wind's doing. 6 knots off the right wing. Stormy weather. And here comes our glide path, so we'll go ahead and hit the approach mode. Let's drop the gear. And flaps. Okay, it's loud. Wind noise. Airspeed's coming down. We're descending. I'm going to bring the props up into the full RPM. So we're 1 mile from the final approach fix. Cleared to land for 28 Golf. Tower just gave us the clearance, and now we just need to find the airport. And it's sitting over here, and you can see the approach lights right here. Basically, there's a line of them that are leading us there. There's the runway. Runway's in sight. We'll continue the approach. So the wind noise is very loud when that gear went down. Don't know that this is exactly accurate. Hope you can hear me okay. If not, it'll only be for a few minutes. We'll be on the ground. – 2,500 feet, 120 knots. The approach looks good. And let's get some lights on. There we go. Flaps, gear, prop lever, autopilot, yaw damper. Autopilot, I'll disengage at about 500 feet. Fuel pumps are on, pump 1. Fuel pressure looks good. Engine's in the green, oil pressure's good. It's just this loud noise. It's almost like a door came open. Okay, there's the approach lights, there's the airport. Mendenhall Glacier, it'll be off here to our left. We should get a view of it as we come in. And off to the right of the runway, you'll see the seaplane landing area. There's a little body of water right over here. Off to the right, you'll see some seaplanes. And we're looking at the terrain. Got lots of terrain, so if we needed to get out of Dodge now, we'd have to make a hard left, miss these mountains over here. Coming down to 1500. There's the approach lights. Bring in just a tad bit of power. Keeping an eye on the radar altitude here. We'll get down to about 500 feet. We'll take over from George. We should get a call out. Don't know that we'll hear it. Ultra loud in my headset. So we're going to go ahead and take command. Autopilot's off. Now there's some FASI or some PAPI lights at the end of this runway. I'm expecting to see. There, I'm starting to see them now. Looks like two reds to me.
500.
There's the call out. And let's see if we can get ourselves lined up. We have to make a little dog leg to the right here. Wind's coming off the right wing. And let's go with full flaps. See the seaplane leg there to the right, coming off on the power easily. Starting to flare. Floating. And beta. Flaps up. Brake. And 40 knots would come out of beta smartly so as not to overspeed the props. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Juneau International Airport. Little nip and tuck there coming in, just the way we like it, so that we can wait for it, push the envelope. Okay, sometimes I do maybe get a little carried away, but it's okay. ground on 0.9er for 28 Golf. Alright, let's clean up the airplane. We'll give ground a call. And we got our flaps up. And let's bring off this heat off. And cut these strobes off over here. And we cut the landing light off right there. And we did not cut the prop sync off, should have. And we'll leave that heat on right there. And let's get ground up. That's not ground, but that is right there. And let me look at my checklist, be sure I did everything. Collapse power, anti-ice, pitot, transponder automatically went to ground force, and lights are good. Juneau ground, Duke 4628 Golf. Taxi to parking for 28 Golf. Okay, so we're going to go to our parking place. Let's bring these condition levers up into the high idle. And that gets us going the way we want to go. Let's see. We're not in the beta mode right now, but I'm going to have to come back in there, keep our speed under control. So we are on alpha. We need to come back up here to delta, hang a right. And we can look at our safe taxi. We came off of echo, and delta, if we hadn't have floated so long, would have been the place to come off, but that's okay. With all this thunder and lightning and rain, I'd say we did pretty good to get down in one piece, in my humble opinion. Now 20 knots is a little fast on this, on the ground on this, so bringing that power back a little bit in the beta mode. And right here is where we want to turn right. Straight ahead. So far I'm just using the beta on the props to control my speed. And I'll call that good right there. So we're going to bring these back down into low idle. There we go. And let's get ourselves into idle right there. That is. And we can go ahead and cut off taxi light, and all that heat's off, and let's get rid of these avionics. Inverters off, heat's off over here, pressurization good, prop sync, all that is off, and I think we'll leave those on. Cut these generators off, and ignitions are off. And let's check our ITT. We're down below 600. Supposed to idle there for 1 minute, 1 full minute. Let me just look at the rest of the checklist. Let's see, fuel pumps after we shut down. So okay, we'll call that a minute. And what we're going to do, let's set my brake here, is we're going to feather the props, or shut the engine down and feather the props. So starting with the left one. There it is, and I'm going to bring the prop back to feather. And then the right one. There it is. Bring that prop back to feather. There, got a lot quieter. Much better. And let's cut these fuel pumps off. Reset that caution. Okay. Great. You hear the thunder. I think we cheated death today. Again. So it looks like everything is in the off position. Let's go ahead and shut our battery off and let's get out and take a look around. Duck down, come through. I don't know if I had a chance to show you. Got a nice little table here. Put your laptop on it. And here's our door. Get this handle here. Watch your step. There it is, right there. Yeah, we're okay. We made it. All right. Duke, you did a good job. I'm going to put on my rocket power tennis shoes and do what I like to do, which is fly. And it looks like there's some nav lights on. Yep, there are. Even with the battery switch off, doesn't seem right, but they're definitely on there. Hey, wait a minute, who's that in the cockpit? That's not me. Somebody's stealing my airplane. Did a good job parking on the center line of the taxi. Can't complain about that. So, okay, another good flight. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to have you along. We're here in Juneau, and we'll probably do a little sightseeing here before we leave. And then we'll be heading on up probably to Anchorage, I'd say next. Not sure. For that flight, maybe the TBM 850 by Coronado or something else. Not sure. We'll see. But I think I want to get in a float plane and fly around here a little bit too. And A2A has one, so hoping to get a chance to do that. So I do thank you for joining me. Glad to have you on board. And from FS MaNiA until next time, so long.
Okay, 8429 November, your radar contact 6 miles southwest Bar Lake. Verify your land in Anchorage with information whiskey.